Howdy, fellow F1 enjoyers. Yesterday we witnessed a historic event. All 10 teams showed up to present their fake cars with the new liveries. It was an interesting evening to say the least, because YouTube doesn't like it when I swear this early in the video, just like the FIA president. The opening act was Machine Gun Kelly. I can't blame you if you don't know him, a singer with half of his body blacked out, painted fingernails and almost as many earrings as Lewis has titles. But as he said in his song, but he banged Megan Fox, so who are we to judge? After MGK's solid performance, the host took over. The comedian Jack Whitehall. And thank God we got somebody with a sense of humor and not somebody like Ted Kravitz. And he did his job and started to violate our favorite drivers, reminding us of the Russell and Verstappen beef.
Cheer up, Max, it could have been worse. We didn't sit you next to George Russell.
Oh, and by the way, you can really tell that he couldn't care less for this event. Then Jack did the unthinkable and cooked Lewis Hamilton.
Always the centre of attention, whether he is careering round the track or peacocking through the paddock dressed like a Fortnite character.
Then it got weird as he started to flirt with Charles Leclerc and the no-chin man, James Vowles. So yeah, let's move on to the important things, talking about colors on cars. The teams presented their cars in the reverse order in which they finished in the constructors title. Meaning the kick team wouldn't be last for the first time. I mean, there's not really much to say about it. The drivers and the principals always had about a minute to talk, so we didn't get shit from them. I'll show you some pics of the car, and as you can notice, they just played around with the green part of the car and made a fade with it. Nothing too fancy, but it doesn't really look bad either. Next up, Williams. As we all know, Williams had so much crash damage last year that there was no money left for the design team. So they ended up changing their blue a bit and also added a fade, which I really don't hate. And that's mainly because they still have the Duracell battery on top again. One of the best marketing moves I've ever seen. Now, but let's move on to the next team. The Visa Cash App Racing Bulls was up next, and I knew that they would bring the heat. Because their trailer was so shit that it couldn't get any worse. Now, Racing Bulls announced that they would work closer together with Red Bull. But I didn't expect them to pull up with the Red Bull's 2021 Turkish Grand Prix car. Jokes aside, this is the best looking car in my opinion. I didn't care about the following teams anymore after this. But of course you guys do. So let's see what the American team unveiled. And I was shocked. Ocon didn't say anything that made me want to throw my TV out the window. Oh yeah, let me show you their car. I bet you didn't see that livery coming, did you? I guess Gene didn't give them enough budget once again. Although they made an American propaganda video. Until that point, the show went very smoothly, but somebody had to ruin it. And no, I'm not talking about these two. Now, Alpine thought it would be a good idea to turn the event into a dubstep concert, and they brought out the worst DJ they could find. Just take a look at Flavio Briatore's face. He is Alpine's Helmut Marko, and I think both of them were close to having a seizure caused by the show. This modern Mozart tortured us for almost 5 fucking minutes. It felt like watching a Make-A-Wish kid submit a video to win a meet and greet with Skrillex. After that, I'm not even going to comment on the car, take a look at this blue and pink tractor. After that, they showed us a sick compilation of F2 and F3, and I was getting hyped after Alpine almost made me want to switch to NASCAR. But then, they made a cut to F1 Academy and killed the mood again. After some booing for the FIA and mediocre applause for Pirelli, it was time for the next team. Aston Martin went in with a James Bond theme intro and invested more into CGI than into their last year's car. But you can tell it's fake because if Lance would have been on the boat, it would have ended like this. We didn't get to see a real James Bond, and neither did we get to see a changed livery. They added some black and silver and called it a day. Speaking of black and silver, let's see how Mercedes combined their two favorite colors. Mercedes came in with a pit crew and showed us a Ferrari-type pit stop. Well done, guys. The car has no more red color on it and they added more blue and silver. Before Red Bull showed us their livery, Jack did an interview with Gordon Ramsay and asked him about swearing in F1. Gordon stood up for the drivers and failed his talk 1 minute without swearing challenge. So let's make him the new FIA president. Speaking of principles, next up was Red Bull and Christian Horner opened the show. And the crowd booed him, just like expected. After their Red Bull-like video intro, they showed us the car. And I know you're expecting the same liveries every year. And you're right. Red Bull livery designer must be the best job in the world. It's last year's runner-up turn, Ferrari. They paid tribute to their racing history and Enzo Ferrari in their video intro. But then turned around and spit on it. If you have a HP printer, please throw it away. Look at what they did to Ferrari. They cannot get away with this. It looks so fucking wrong. But I guess they need the money after giving half the company to Lewis. But then it was McLaren's turn. They opted for a similar intro as Ferrari, showing former cars, and they even put them on a stage. some of the most beautiful and legendary F1 cars, just to put this disgrace of a car next to them. Well done, McLaren. At least they had a good excuse.
In terms of livery, we wanted to stay in continuity with last year's car to honor our champion car.
Well, and that's about it. Make sure to comment which car you like the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video.